Stop seeking validation. Believe in yourself. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am delighted that you are here today as we will be discussing something that has the power to profoundly change the way you perceive yourself and live your life. We are going to talk about the idea of not seeing yourself through someone else's eyes, not asking anyone how you look, not asking anyone if you are smart enough, and not needing approval from others in order to feel good about yourself. This is one of the most important lessons you can ever learn, because once you stop depending on the outside world to validate you, you unlock a freedom that anyone's opinion cannot shake. So today, I want you to stay with me as we go deep into this subject. I want you to walk away from this video not only motivated, but also transformed, with a new way of thinking about your self-worth and your confidence. When you constantly try to see yourself through the eyes of other people, you are placing your identity in their hands. You are saying, "Tell me who I am, tell me if I am good enough, tell me if I am worthy." But the truth is, nobody can define you except yourself. People's opinions are always changing. What they admire in you today, they might criticize tomorrow. What they'll find impressive now, they might find ordinary later. If your self-worth depends on such unstable approval, then your inner peace will never be steady. You will always be chasing something that slips away the moment you think you've caught it. That is why it is so dangerous to make your reflection depend on the mirror of others. The reason so many people seek approval is because from a young age, we are conditioned to do so. As children, we looked for smiles and applause from our parents, our teachers, and our friends. We were rewarded when we behaved in a way that others liked, and we were corrected or scolded when we did not. Slowly, we began to connect approval with worth. When someone said, "Good job," we felt valuable. When no one said anything, we felt invisible. This pattern grows with us into adulthood, and before we realize it, we are adults who still feel the need to be told we are smart, attractive, or good enough. But the problem is that when approval becomes your foundation, you stop living for yourself and you start living for others. You become a character in someone else's story instead of the author of your own. Even if you get all the approval you are looking for, it will never be enough if you do not approve of yourself. You could receive endless compliments about your intelligence or your beauty, but if you do not truly believe those things inside, then every compliment will feel like it fades away too quickly. It is like pouring water into a bucket that has holes. No matter how much water you pour in, it will always leak out. This is why so many people who appear admired and successful on the outside still struggle deeply on the inside. They may be loved by millions, yet they still do not feel love for themselves. That is the illusion of external approval. It can boost you for a moment, but it cannot sustain you. Living for approval comes with a heavy cost. It takes away your authenticity. You stop wearing the clothes you like because you are worried about what others will say. You choose careers, hobbies, or even relationships not because they bring you joy, but because they look impressive to others. You hide your real opinions because you are afraid of sounding foolish. Slowly, piece by piece, you lose your connection with who you truly are. You become a version of yourself that is constantly edited for public consumption. And then one day, you may realize that the life you have built is not even your own, but one that was shaped by the expectations of others. That is a heartbreaking realization, but it is also the moment where change can begin. The change begins when you decide to approve of yourself first. Self-approval is not arrogance. It is not about believing you are perfect or better than anyone else. It is about recognizing that you are enough exactly as you are, while still having the freedom to grow, learn, and improve. It is about giving yourself the same compassion, respect, and kindness that you are always chasing from other people. It is about looking in the mirror and saying, even if nobody else tells me today, I know I am worthy, I know I am valuable, and I know I am enough. Self-approval grows stronger when you cultivate self-awareness. You have to take the time to ask yourself, who am I really? What do I truly enjoy, regardless of whether other people like it? What values do I hold close to my heart? What dreams light me up, even if they don't impress anyone else? The more you know yourself, the less you need others to tell you who you are. Self-awareness strips away the layers of outside conditioning and brings you back to your core. And when you are living from that core, no criticism can destroy you, and no compliment can define you. You can appreciate feedback, but it no longer controls you. Another powerful truth to remember is that opinions are not facts. They are simply reflections of someone else's perspective, and perspectives are always colored by personal experiences, beliefs, and insecurities. If someone calls you unattractive, it does not make you unattractive. It simply means they do not find you attractive, which is not the same thing. If someone says you are not intelligent, it does not mean you are not intelligent. It just means they do not recognize your strengths. Opinions say more about the person giving them than about the person receiving them. Once you understand this, you can begin to detach from the weight of other people's judgments. True confidence is built from within, not handed to you from the outside. It is about trusting yourself to show up, even when nobody claps for you. It is about working hard, even if no one notices your effort. It is about celebrating yourself, even when no one else does. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room or constantly being praised. It is about having an inner knowing that you are enough, no matter what. You can start building this kind of confidence by keeping small promises to yourself, by taking care of your body and mind, by speaking kindly to yourself instead of harshly, and by respecting your own boundaries. Each time you do this, you strengthen the foundation of your self-belief. When you free yourself from the need for validation, you begin to live authentically. You start making choices that align with your heart, not with the crowd. You dress in a way that makes you feel comfortable and alive, not just in a way that pleases others. You pursue dreams that matter to you, not just dreams that earn applause. You speak your truth, even if it is unpopular, because you value authenticity more than acceptance. Ironically, when you stop trying so hard to be liked, people actually respect you more, because authenticity has a magnetic power. There is something deeply attractive about someone who knows who they are and does not apologize for it. Of course, one of the greatest obstacles in letting go of validation is the fear of judgment. The fear that if you stop caring about others' opinions, people will dislike you. But the reality is that people will judge you no matter what you do. If you are quiet, they might call you shy. If you speak up, they might call you loud. If you follow the crowd, they might say you are unoriginal. If you don't, they might say you are strange. You simply cannot win everyone's approval, and you were never meant to. Once you accept that judgment is inevitable, you free yourself to live on your own terms. Imagine how freeing it would feel to not need approval from anyone. Imagine walking into a room without worrying about what others think of your appearance. Imagine making choices based purely on what excites and fulfills you. Imagine speaking your mind without that nervous voice asking, "What if they don't like what I say?" That is what true self-acceptance feels like. It is not about perfection. It's about embracing yourself fully, flaws and all, and deciding that you are enough. Once you make peace with who you are, you no longer need others to hand you that peace. You already carry it inside you. So, as we come to the end of this video, I want you to remember this truth. Do not try to see yourself through someone else's eyes. Do not ask the world to tell you that you are smart, or that you are beautiful, or that you are worthy. You already are. Stop chasing approval that will never last, and start building approval that comes from within. Because once you approve of yourself, you become unstoppable. You move through the world with confidence, not because everyone claps for you, but because you clap for yourself. You live with courage, not because no one criticizes you, but because you are no longer controlled by criticism. You live authentically. Not because you're trying to please the crowd, but because you are true to yourself. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message spoke to you, if it inspired you, or if you believe someone else needs to hear it, I invite you to share it with them. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more motivational content just like this. Hit that like button, leave me a comment below sharing your thoughts. And join this community of people who are learning to live with confidence, authenticity, and self-love. Remember, you do not need approval. You already are enough. And the moment you believe that, your whole life begins to change.